So, Shelly, I turn things over to you. 5 tips for building a great relationship with your surrogate.
I feel like the first part is to really know the idea of what you want out of the relationship. So if you have a partner, really have those heart-to-heart conversations. Like, how involved do you want this woman in your life before the pregnancy, during the pregnancy, and once the baby's here, what does that look like for you? So there are going to be some scenarios where it's going to be easier to say, hey, once the baby's here, we're not really sure what we want, how that looks, how we introduce you to the child. And I feel like that's okay. I feel like there's a lot of power in knowing that these children were born with this huge tribe of people who really just loved them into existence. But I also understand that that's a very sensitive path, and how you explain that to your child is going to be very unique. But I think the first part of meeting your surrogate and deciding that that's how you want to grow your family, that's the first step in the birth story of your child. So, like, let's make that a really powerful story and relationship, and have this level of respect where you know this woman wants to help you. Obviously, she's going to carry a baby for you. Like, there's no larger gift you can give somebody. So I think just really being honest with what your expectations are and how involved do you want this person in your life, because there's no right or wrong way. I've had 4 journeys, and 3 of them were beautiful and amazing, and I talk to the families every day. And one of the journeys, I haven't talked with them at all since the baby was born. And it's weird, it's hard, but it doesn't discount the fact of what you're doing for all of it. So I think as long as you're open with what you want out of it, everything else will fall into place the way that it should.
Great. Can I just interject for a second? Say we've got some great comment suggestions already. So I'm loving this, and I can't tell Shelly if they're your fans, our fans, both of our fans, but some really good stuff. I don't know if I can. Well, we'll see it in the Instagram live video recording afterwards, anyway. So
yeah.
I continue. Sorry.
No, totally fine. I think the second biggest piece of advice is including the surrogate support person. So I could have never done 4 journeys without my husband. Like, he is my person when things are hard, or I'm emotional, or I'm uncomfortable. Like, he's the person I rely on. So I feel like a lot of times the surrogate support person is a little discounted in the process. Without them, none of it's possible. So the more you can include them in the conversation and support them while they support the person carrying your child, I think the better. It does take a village, and without that person, the surrogate is really going to suffer. So if they're feeling included and supported and loved as much as she is, I think it only kind of trickles down to supporting the baby.
Okay, that's great. I love it. Love it. And another interjection, I just thought with Joey, we're going to see him also the first time I'm going to meet him in real life. And we're going to see him tomorrow night too. So shout out to you, Joey. Sorry, go ahead, Shelly.
No, totally fine. That was my 2 pieces of advice. Yep. Now I need a third. I think building a solid team around you. So a lot of people think that you need to pick your surrogacy agency first, but I truly think that picking your IVF doctor is the most important part. They're going to help guide you on what you're looking for in your egg donor if you need one, what qualifications your surrogate should have. And I feel like the more connected you are and the better communication with your IVF doctor, the better time and easier time you're going to have finding all of these other pieces that need to fall into place to create your beautiful child. So always start with your IVF doctor. They'll connect you with agencies and attorneys and therapists and everybody here you didn't know you needed.
Agreed. And we can also help connect you with all those people. But Shelly, have you ever heard this? Someone once said this to me, which is, after all, a surrogacy and IVF journey is first and foremost a medical journey.
It is. Yeah. I mean, it's hard for me because I help surrogates kind of navigate their own path down surrogacy all the time. And there's so many women out there who want to do this.
Yeah.
But medically they don't qualify. And I think that's hard for a lot of them. They're like, but I've had my own children. And that's great. That is one of the first requirements to becoming a surrogate, is having your own children that you're raising on your own. Yep. But that doesn't mean that an elective pregnancy is the right path for you. So there's no hard feelings. Like, we don't say no because we think you're terrible. We love you. Like, we love all of you so much. But medically, there has to be so many check marks that you have to hit on the way that I feel like once a woman is qualified to be a surrogate, like she is amazing and we should treat her as such.
Agreed. 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 All right. That was the third tip. So tip number 4.
Tip number 4, I always say open communication, whether that's with your partner, with your surrogate, with your agency, with whoever it is, you have to speak your truth. Nobody's going to advocate for you better than you're going to advocate for you. So if something doesn't feel right, if you don't understand something, if it doesn't make sense or you don't, anything at all, speak up. There's no such thing as a dumb question. If you're matched with the right agency, they're going to make sure that you understand what's happening, why it's happening, how it happens, and the time frame in which it should happen. So I'm always a huge advocate for communication. Like, educate yourself, empower yourself, and advocate for yourself every step of the way, because if something doesn't make sense, that means you need to learn more about it and why it's happening.
Love that. Love that. All right. And drum roll. That's me with a really bad drum roll.
Drum roll, please.
I should have had like something set up already. Tip number 5, Shelly, for building a strong relationship with your surrogate.
I say post-birth is the hugest part.
Okay.
There's a lot that goes into it. She's the focus of it ahead of the pregnancy. While she's pregnant, she's a huge part of this. But check in with her after the baby's born. Like, that's a really unique time. Like, a woman's body goes through a lot creating a baby and birthing a baby and bringing it earthside. So I think that it's also really important to make sure that once the baby's born, you're not just like, later, ma'am, have a nice life, that you're really, especially in the first few days after. Having done this myself, it's really just like making sure that you say thank you, making sure that you say, we appreciate all that you've done, even words. Like, you don't need to buy gifts. I feel like a lot of people feel like they need to buy their surrogate gifts or send them something, but I honestly, truly believe that just sharing your gratitude with her goes more further than anything else you can ever do. So for me, my first surrogacy journey, I carried twins, and they will be 11 years old next Friday. It's crazy, but we still talk to them every single week. So they're still a huge part of our family, and I couldn't have asked for something better. And I will never, like, even when I did journeys after that, it was never, nothing will ever compare to that. It's like, once you create magic, nothing's ever as cool. But even now, they're like, we wouldn't have our family without you. And I just feel like knowing that they appreciate the sacrifice that me and my family made along the way is all I needed. Like, there's nothing else that is more important than realizing that you created a family.
I love that. So would you say like a good time to have that, especially maybe like you're on your first day back home from the hospital or something?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's you can't really put a timeline on it, because at that point you're also responsible for a human. Like, we just brought a human into the world and you're responsible for it. So I can't say like maybe the next day or the day after, but maybe a couple of days once you're settled into a routine and you have like a quiet minute to just say like, hey, we're thinking about you. Like, it doesn't have to be a reciprocated conversation where you go into huge dialogue, but like, we are tired and we are covered in babies throw up and spit up, and we just wanted to say thank you for this moment. Because I feel like that's what we work so hard for, is to make somebody else suffer through the newborn phase.
Yes. And that, of course, is regardless of what kind of relationship you guys said you wanted to have in the future. That thank you, that well-timed thank you is a critical thing. So, I love it.
Like you said, whether you want a relationship and you want your child to meet this woman later, I don't think that matters. It doesn't discount the price she paid to make this a possibility for you.
Cannot appreciate that. Yes, it's true that here in the States, women are getting compensated, but it's nothing that can compare to what you're doing to your bodies.
Yeah.
And all that your family is willing to put up with as well. So, Shelly, can we just go through those 5 topics again? You know me, my memory, I'm old, so once in and out. The first one, the 5 tips for helping to build a strong relationship with your surrogate. Tip number 1.
Understand what you want out of the journey.
Good. tip number 2?
I don't remember exactly,
Oh, it's your
but
partner. Make sure you have
your partner.
your,
Support the surrogate support person.
yeah.
Number 3 was picking a team around you. So pick your IVF physician, really trust them to guide you.
Yep.
Number 4 would be advocate for yourself.
Advocate for yourself. And number 5 was communication.
Communication, yeah, and just really be appreciative of all it takes to make this possible, because there's a lot of people that come into play. And like you said, compensation is big. So people think that like, oh, the surrogate's all doing it for the money. When I first signed up for surrogacy, I didn't know you were compensated. So when I finally found my agency that I was going to work with and they sent me the compensation package, literally my stomach fell out my butt when I read the package, because I was like, oh my goodness, like I thought you got reimbursed for things. I thought you got like, here's some gas money, here, go buy some lunch. But I didn't expect the compensation part, because when I did this, it was really for the altruistic reasons. But when you look at it, there's never going to be an amount of money I think you can pay a woman to carry a baby for somebody. That sounds fair.
Agreed.
But I think we've settled on a pretty healthy number that accounts for the disruption to her life, the danger she's put into having a baby. We can't discount pregnancy is not an easy journey. Right. And then I also think just for what she goes through, like she should be compensated for her role in this beautiful journey.
But let's not forget that everyone, there's not a single surrogate who is not doing, who's not doing it because she really wants to help other people, right? Like that's the number one thing, is every surrogate is doing it first and foremost to help us realize our dreams of parenthood. And isn't that just truly amazing? Shelly, you're going to come back and you're going to give us more tips, and you're going to talk more about making sure that we can do what we can to strengthen our relationships with these women who just mean so much to us, and talk more about our partnership when we're ready to make some big news announcements as well.
Yes, absolutely. I'm here for it.
Okay. We love you, Shelly, and all the work that you do. And I'm so excited to see you tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night. We're doing it. We're doing it live.
All right. Well, I will see you then. In the meantime, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for these wonderful tips. Thank you for helping to spread the word on all that, to really help people fully understand exactly what these amazing women are doing for us, because we appreciate it beyond. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Bye. Thanks all for watching, and thanks for your comments. And you'll see some future Instagram Lives on information that you asked us to cover. So thank you all. Bye.